Hello. Alright. Apparently the kid is imminent. I figure we can just mess around with some 2XK until then and Alta for the moment the kid hits. Timing was actually pretty convenient for me. Just got him. Well. Alright, let's do this. Alright. Y'all screaming me if it actually hits. I will have the news channel open, but as we know, it's not always the first. Discord takes a second for it to push through the pipes. It's the best way to put this up. Alright, this seems relatively set up. Alright. And now our watch begins. Alright. Let's mess around some 2XK while we're waiting. Nope. Ah, didn't defend. I was somebody to pick her up. No, the whiff. Oh, the slice up didn't work. It's got too much wind up. I'm using it too much, I think. This man does not block. Nah. That was a good shield. Too close. That deletes a wind wall. Interesting. He command grabbed out of the air. What the fuck? Dude. I should have lost that. I feel like the memo that it says, someone says end set, it shouldn't have to wait for you to also say end set. No, I'm stuck with the song. Gulp. Mm. No! It was free. I wonder if that actually comboed. It was wasteful, but interesting. Is this his first time fighting Yasuo? I think it might be. Kit check? Nope. That's the wrong input. No, good. That was a good read. Nah, wrong input. Oh, I didn't have meter and I tried to parry. I'm a fucking idiot. That does a chain. I am not inputting a walk. Am I just lagging like crazy or something? What is happening? I should not be. Still no Hondo. Ah, the read was correct, but not the action. Well, should have been punished. Why can't I super? What the fuck? I mashed super through that whole thing. Nothing. They were pushing buttons too. Oh, fuck. Yeah. We had a bunch of I was holding block. What? Get out. All right. You got the link? I don't have it on Discord yet. All right. Let's get this in the correct browser. Not a tank, we win. I don't know if that's a good thing. Is it an attacker? Support? Okay. That was my prediction. It just felt like things were out of balance. Alright. Let me put it up on YouTube real quick. Better to profit than die. Also, it was very amusing to me that there was some mention that Hondo was going to be in a show next year. I don't know, CG had that information, so that's why they're doing this, and that was just a lead up. That was just a hard read or insider information, but topical. All right, what are we looking at? Dark, neutral lovers and shambles, all one of you. I don't know, man. Neutral. I know more neutral people out there than just one, but it's not good, man. It boxes you out of data cards, it boxes you out of some of the effects. Let's just go kit. We can read the extras after. That's actually fairly short. Leader, Pirate King self-proclaimed Zeta. At the start of battle, all pirate allies and smuggle allies gain offense and 3% speed? I don't know, 3% to reference. Pirate allies also gain 35% defense and 25% stats. They are immune to fear, heal immunity, shock, and TM removal. So, interestingly, leaving days open but blocking shock. There are no light side allies. Is Hondo's squad all dark side? I mean, Brutus, yes. Vayne, yes. Silvo, yes. Our OG Hondo is neutral. So this is directly targeting kicks right now. If there are no light side allies, all pirates gain a lightning raid for 1 turn, increase it 2 turns if the enemy in the leader slot is a Jedi. Lightning raid, deal 28% more damage and can ignore taunt. Didn't Mace also come with a 1-turn taunt ignore? Kind of like a sort of set play for the start of battle. Okay, so we have some vaguely anti-Sith stuff, some vaguely anti-Jedi stuff. Pirate King Hondo Onaka gains 2% ult charge when a pirate ally uses an ability that steals buffs. I assume it doesn't have to actually steal buffs to get ult charge. I mean, aren't there like Quiggold comes to mind as like there are basic abilities that technically steal that like maybe you could print out some extra ult charge that way. I mean, it says if there are no light side allies, but Lightning Raid, 20% more damage and can ignore taunt for 1 turn. That's like, look, man, if you're in the market for kicks, I don't think that's a deal breaker immediately, right? We'll have to track if there's more. Start a Hondo's turn if there are Sith enemies, daze them for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Alright, this is a man on a mission. If the enemy in the leader slot is a Jedi, pirate ally has gained 10% offense and 4% speed. So we are now up to 7% speed. Whenever an enemy Jedi attacks at a turn, they take damage equal to 3% of their max health, and all pirate allies gain 2% offense stacking for the rest of battle. This damage can't be evaded and can't defeat enemies. Feels like a lot of these clauses end up impacting the GL versus GL space more than anything else right now. I mean, 7% speed isn't necessarily bad, but equal to 3% of their max health is crazy low. I'm expecting maybe a secondary payoff. Yeah, 6 or 7% speed is not bad by any means. But like 3% max health tax is pretty dang low. I'm wondering if like kicks is like very small percentages and then it gets increased elsewhere in his kit. Unique 1 is not personal, is profitable. The maximum cap for profit is removed for Hondo. At the start of battle, if he's in the lead slot, all pirate allies immediately get 5 stacks of profit. Hondo gains an additional 2 stacks for each relic amp level he has. So 23 starting. Whenever an allied pirate attacks on a turn, they gain a stack of profit. I think Brutus has some assist clauses. Silvo obviously has alert. Hondo can call people to assist. OG Hondo, that is. Vane, I don't believe has any. What are pirate allies are damaged by a Jedi? Also, like kicks. Well, we don't have to like go through the entire list, but I want to say light side and neutral tend to have more. Whenever pirate allies are damaged by a Jedi or Sith enemy, they gain a stack of profit. Whenever Pirate King Hondo uses a special ability, all pirate allies gain 2 stacks of profit. While pirate allies have 15 or more stacks of profit, 10% damage reduction. While they have less than 15 stacks of profit, they gain 10% turn meter for each turn an enemy takes. You would rather be below 15 stacks, but I suspect that the table setting for me almost feels like an inverse Bausch. It's like you're accelerated up to 15, and then once you're like around turn 3 in the match, you kind of slow down a bit. You're fast and scrappy to start, and then you hunker down a bit. Very short abilities so far. That's crazy. Oh, this is just the GL unique. Special 2 Charismatic Captain. Cooldown of 5. Dispel debuffs from all allies, and all pirate allies recover 30% health and protection and gain 25% TM. So possible TM starter, assuming this is his first move. If Pirate King Hondo has 10 or more stacks of profit, consume 10 of them, and all pirate allies instead gain 75% turn meter and speed up for 2 turns. So, start a battle, 75% turn meter. A team effectively goes at Hondo's speed, I would assume. This also kind of, if he's cashing out his stacks often, well, it's not going to be often because it's a 5-turn cooldown. But I mean, 5-turn cooldown with a 75% TM game is technically more like a 4-turn cooldown, and then it's a character at GL speed, so it's kind of more like a 2.5 cooldown, and then he's possibly getting a bunch of turn meter with his unique, so like 5 isn't necessarily gonna ring as 5 here, is my guess. Oh, 75% TM and speed up. Speed up for 2 turns, so we assume that everyone's gonna take a turn immediately, and then you have speed up for the fallout turn. Call all other pirate allies to assist. We're not done. And if Hondo consumes stacks of profits with his ability, call all other pirate allies to assist again. Okay, double mass, 75% TM, and speed up. And it's a cleanse before that, crucially. That is a hell of a button. I mean, yeah, man, we were just talking about how you might actually want to be below 15 profit rather than above, and then immediately we see CG going -10 here, and I suspect CG knows what they're doing. I think that they know that that's the entire game here. Crazy. It's almost as if they made the kit. All pirate allies gain 10 mastery stacking until the end of the encounter. That is a very small number unless you specifically have evasion mastery, which I don't remember if they do. We could look real quick. SM33 almost certainly would not. Accuracy, damage, and defense button, he must be a strength. OG Hondo does not. He has accuracy, crit avoid, and damage. Crit avoid might stack decently fast for whatever that's worth. Kicks, crit avoid, health, and resistance. Quigold would not. Ethano almost certainly would not. Brutus, accuracy, damage, and defense pen. Silvo does have dodge, so slight ramp thread here will Silvo. That every time that you hit this button, you're assumedly creating a dodge problem. Kind of like with Lord Vader and CX2, right? There's a little bit of that going on there. It just doesn't tend to matter for his usual counters. Targeting Hondo Anaka steals all buffs from the target enemy, resets the duration, and grants all buffs on himself, excluding stealth and taunts effects to all pirate allies. Then he inflicts the opposite debuff, if any, on the target enemy for 2 turns, disposing any remaining buffs on them, and increases their cooldowns by 1. This ability can't be resisted. I mean, that's like a pretty high impact button as well. The biggest thing with Steel, I think more often than not, is going to be the fact that a lot of the time, there are some characters that did have this, but a lot of the time you are not necessarily guaranteed value. Right. If they just don't have any buffs to steal, you are going home empty-handed, which is thematic, but yeah, more or less this. If they don't have anything juicy to steal, this is a Dispel plus cooldown increase on a 4-turn cooldown. Alright. Basic. The physical damage to target enemy and gain 1 stack of profit. If this ability scores a critical hit, all pirate allies also gain a stack of profit. If it is Hondo's turn, call a random pirate attacker and a random other pirate ally to assist. Oh. That creates some serious incentive to cut Brutus in some respects. There's reasons to run Brutus in other respects, but I have to imagine calling SM33 is vastly higher value than Brutus a lot of the time. Dealing 2% more damage for each stack of profit on all 3 allies. So let's just randomly say 15 per, 90% more damage. If the target enemy is Jedi or Sith, remove 3% turn meter for each buff and debuff on them. If any turn meter was removed, Hondo gains 3% ult charge. I assume that's not per increment. I assume it's just going to be a one and done. Pirate King Hondo had 10 or more stacks of profit at the start of his turn. This ability is guaranteed to critically hit if able. We got JML Basic. Welcome back. Well, that, well, oh, his ults. Ultimate Mutual Gains requires 100% ultimate charge to activate. Pirate King Hondo Anaka gains 1% ultimate charge whenever a pirate ally gains a stack of profit, and 2% ult charge whenever a pirate ally uses an ability that steals buffs. So assumedly, start of battle would be a decent chunk of ult charge. All pirate and smuggle allies are revived with 100% health and no protection. All enemies lose 25% TM. Double for Jedi Sith, which can't be resisted. Jedi and Sith enemies also have their cooldowns increased by 2. Enemies gain crit damage up, defense up, and offense up for 2 turns. Hondo inflicts tenuous agreement on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Grants favorable terms to all pirate allies for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Tenuous agreement. Enemies get 10% speed and deal 30% less damage. Favorable turns. Allies get 20% crit chance and offense. 20% or 10% protection recovery at start of turn. Gain a bonus turn and grant allied Pirate King Hondo Onaka 2 stacks of profit when defeating enemy with tenuous agreement. Whenever an enemy damages a character with favorable turns, they are inflicted with 1 stack of off balance for 2 turns, which can't be evaded, and Hondo Onaka gains 2 stacks of profit. Okay. So you pop ults. 2 turn cooldown increase. They gain crit damage up, defense up, and offense up. You get 20% offense and 20% crit chance, but it's just 20% offense, right? You're not really going to increment that crit chance the overwhelming majority of the time. Personal protection regen for 2 turns. But really, I assume that it's effectively Hondo pops ult, everyone gets a bonus turn. Seems to be the big one. It's also a squad wide revive. Squad wide revive and also enemy team removal. Oh, only Jedi and Sith enemies are the people who have their cooldowns increased. I mean, my mind is immediately jumping to, like, if you're, like, Queen Amidala, aren't you immune to cooldown manipulation? And you would be like, holy shit, thank you so much for the crit damage up and offense up. I know the expectation is that it will be stolen promptly, but Queen Amidala is more than happy to be using their basics. And yeah, would be extremely thrilled to find out that you just gave them 100% damage buffs. The real question is, how does Great Mothers murder him? Oh, I mean, fucking, I see nothing here that stops Great Mothers or Bad Batch from just absolutely mauling him. Yeah. I think this is just going to be how things are from now on, though, to be honest, right? Galactic Legends have to be built with room for a lifter and a room for seasonal shit. I don't think it's ever going to, like, reasonably happen again that we are going to see a GL and it will be, like, devastating on release. I mean, that being said, we see some, like, fairly big buttons here. But, so, like, my immediate knee-jerk reaction is this almost feels like the anti-Ahsoka. Ahsoka, the majority of Ahsoka's power budget was on her leading unique and the table setting rule setting you did. This is, like, almost no table setting rule setting, and it's just trying to make big buttons, right? We have team-wide cleanse plus team-wide 75% TM plus team-wide extra speed up delta past that plus team-wide double assist call. He's literally the nega Ahsoka. He's the dark Ahsoka. Like the opposite Ahsoka. Insanely big buttons and, like, not much table setting past that. But when it comes to, like, trying to predict how things are going to go, I mean, does Ahsoka care if you double mass assist Morgan? In GAC, maybe, but also, like, if the answer to that's ever yes, and the answer to that is the Great Mother's player is going to do their damnedest to, like, run a defense crown, run some defense sets, run some protection primaries, or whatever have you. I really kind of thought that there was going to be some. Oh wait, doesn't Vayne doesn't convert his protection to his health, but honestly, like, yeah, Vayne really is just like the cover story here, right? We know already that like there's a fair amount of power budget sitting in characters like Vayne. When I say, wow, Hondo's late and unique seems short, a decent chunk of that is because it's sitting here, right? Vayne is like the right hand man. Vayne set the table. Hondo's the guy who's just like out there pushing buttons. So it's not like the squad doesn't necessarily have it, right? And because this is a lock taunt too, and he's like immune to percent health, so like we are seeing some of the effects here that I would kind of expect to see here. But what this more or less means is you are dealing with these limitations for Vayne, and once you get past that, for the rest of the squad, it's going to be open season. So it's not like the squad doesn't have access to those tools. It's just not forcing you to deal with an entire squad that has Vayne claws, right? Does this kind of feel like the most straightforward GL kit? Oh yeah, and I imagine that's a very deliberate thing CG did. There's a decent amount of stuff spread out here, but like, you know, we ever since we saw SM33, right? There was always speculation of like, oh, he's gonna be a tank or he's gonna self mark or whatever, and it seems like, well, maybe it's just that they just vaguely want Hondo to be like hard to leave alive instead. All power allies gain 5 stacks of profit. That is how much per person? It's 1% when a pirate ally gains a stack of profit, so you start at 25% at a minimum. And then he has the 9 extra, right? No, 2 additional stacks. So no, he's 43%. Whenever pirate ally attacks out of turn, they gain a stack of profit. So you attack out of turn, you get a percent of ult charge. So Hondo basic is kind of like Jabba, right? Well, no. The double mass call is also 10% ult charge, right? I was gonna say Jabba is his basic is only TM or ult charge generated, but that is absolutely not true here. I think this is a very sneaky faction, man. Oh my god, dude. Cause like, okay, Hondo. I'm just gonna assume that he uses the turn meter on match start. Okay, let's run that hypothetical. Let's say this is the first set play GL. This is the first like, hey, at GL speed, you're just gonna have to hold. I promise it's not because I'm playing fighting games right now. This sounds like a rushdown character. You want to know why? Turn 1. Unless it's a enemy GL and they go first, and you're just like, haha, JML Flux, and I guess they don't really have anything to stop you from doing that. I mean, Tenacity Hondo sounds extremely likely, right? Your number one priority is just let there be buttons. But okay. Hondo goes turn 1. Hondo goes turn 1. Everyone gets 75% TM and speed up. Somewhere in there. You would not make him go first at this point, I think. I like Turbo Vayne plus Slow Silvo or something stocks sound fucking crazy right now. Although I need to know what his AI uses first on defense. But the reason being, if he uses this shit first, Hondo gives the entire team an initial turn at his speed. If okay, there is no way Silvo uses this first. Let me put it that way instead. Let me make that fucking clear. Because if he does, this squad is taking like 15 turns at the start of battle at Hondo's speed, right? Well, okay, not 15 turns, because it's not going to go to Silvo, it's not going to go to support, but like, any attacker that you jam in here, like, if you play this on offense, you could go Hondo Silvo 3 attacker, Hondo Slam, TM, Silvo Slam, Frenzy, and then you just combo. And then you just play, right? And I did test it. It does not appear that Frenzy cannibalizes. I think if you're sitting at 100% Frenzy and you push a button on another character, that Frenzy doesn't appear to be consumed. Now, it's somehow like just a random example. Let's say like Amidala doesn't she remove your TM when you assist. Let's say your Frenzy gets popped and that character assists, that they get knocked back down to 90. Then maybe Frenzy would get popped again to be at 100. But I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. But I did try to check for it in a Galactic Challenge. What's the 3v3? Question. I mean, Vayne at minimum, right? Like, that's... Is that a no-brainer? I assume it's a no-brainer. Oh, fucking see, this is what they're doing, though. Vayne is a 2-turn lock taunt, but no, it's not, because he's gonna get the fucking 75% TM. He's a 1-turn lock taunt. You can make Vayne speedless. 75% TM is still 75% TM. Fuck, man. I might go with 0 speed Vayne. Just to extend that second turn. That's crazy. I fucking knew they were gonna do it, right? It was gonna be... Lock taunt is just such a sacred thing, and it was gonna be too easy for CG to, like, tease you with, you have it, but, like... It's literally like Hondo handcuffs, right? It's like, alright, I've disabled your character for 2 turns. Cool. What's his unique? I gain a fuck ton of turn meter, and 2 turns ends extremely fast. Alright. Cool. You just try to keep it. You think you can, but you cannot. Alright, interesting. Like, not a whole lot of fluff or filler here. So Hondo is just permadazing. It's not at the start of battle, it's at the start of his turn. I don't know, is this squad gonna hold all this stuff like Zori? I mean, exposed damage won't work on Vayne. Can the protection up not be dispelled or just a taunt? I always read it as just a taunt, but it would be nice if it was the protection up in this case. Yeah, we don't have terribly much reactivity here that I feel like squads like Zorian, it's going to be a pain in the ass to carve through Vayne, but I don't know that I really see a reason why it couldn't happen. What am I not thinking of? Whenever Hondo takes damage, you gain stacking defense spend for the end of battle, but you're not going to play the video game. Yeah, in the lead slot is Pirate King Hondo. Whenever Pirate King Hondo takes damage, all Pirate allies gain 1 stack of profit. So that also has implications in terms of, like, I mean, that should be 5% ult charge whenever a Hondo takes damage, right? Like, this move is effectively 5% ult charge. If Hondo is the lead, Brutus gains 5 stacks of profit at the start of battle. 100% defense until the end of battle. So 5% extra ult charge. Galleon deletes Lotus Captain Silva whenever Captain Silva. Nah. Alberto says 4 stacks of profit. At the start of his turn, he gains 10% off in stacking for each stack of profit he has. So that will stack up decently often under Hondo. Prism of Darkside Pirate Ally in the leader slot is defeated. Brutus assists himself twice. I just don't think I see that happening. Like once you get through Vayne, it's gonna be such an easy can to open up. OG Hondo is like maybe the answer here, that if you're just looking for somebody to, because Hondo also has reactivity on assist now, remember? Wait, doesn't he? It's coming from Silvo, right? Or is it on Silvo Elite? Okay, so if I'm asking the question, how does Hondo not die to a squad like Zori? The answer, I think, is Vayne is going to be a bitch to kill, and the whole time you're going to have OG Hondo biting your ankles. And I don't think that's cope here. I think that's pretty genuine, right? Like, the thing to keep in mind... So, Hondo traditionally only gets one proc of turn meter whenever anyone gains turn meter that turn. So it's not like you pop AoE turn meter and he gains 25% turn meter, right? He's just looking to see if anyone's doing it, and if anyone's doing it, he'll copycat for the 5%. That is not true for this. So we are kind of in a OG Hondo Unchained situation where if you double mass assist, if you're playing Hondo Mirror and you double mass assist, that should just be 50% turn meter to Hondo. Well, no, it would be 55% because he would still get the 5% proc initially for turn meter gain, right? Like if you're playing Zori and you mass assist, it's not 5% TM. That's like 25% TM. So as long as the rest of the squad is relatively safe, that you're not just like getting picked up by like Finn AoE splash from the exposes. Yeah, man. OG Hondo will just be gaining a lot of turn meter. And like, I don't know. I think that's a fairly real thing to be doing. Like, obviously, it'll make the captive shorter, but it also just make it come back faster. I completely forgotten this clause originally, but seems very much more prevalent nowadays. If Hondo has at least 25 stacks of ransom, the assist call is a AoE cooldown increase. That absolutely could have implications nowadays. So Pirate King Hondo calls a attacker to assists. So really a lot of this is just going to boil down to how good is Brutus actually. Are we in a situation where if you hit the SM33 assist call, you feel like a god, and if you hit the Brutus assist call, you're sad? I don't suspect it is. Brutus just had enough scaling that was like... It always felt pretty clear to me that like whenever Hondo came out, Brutus scaling would like be more than fine, but it's still the sort of thing that like I think it's just going to be a question mark until we see it for ourselves. I mean, frankly, it actually might be flipped. It could be a scenario where SM33 is the low roll. You know, we think of SM33 largely for his nuke on his special that you're not getting that on the assist. Although I will say, do respect SM33 basic. Not necessarily for its damage, although it's not bad actually by any means. Holy fucking shit, this character. It's like a 400% basic ratio. Literally just 400%. Literally 400%. Okay. Yeah, can't be mad. Them some numbers. But no, I think it's pretty damn sleeper here. This, okay, look at this. I want you to like actually sit with what's on this ability for a second. We have a stagger basic. That's pretty damn rare to start. That's a pretty good thing to be doing. I didn't even remember this. The allied leader's pirate target me can't gain bonus protection for 3 turns. That's just like invisible too, right? That's not like a status effect. That's just like I basic you. I put a curse on you. But that's not even it, right? Basic and stagger. Okay, maybe, sure, why not? If you hit the person who first hit the lead, removes 100% turn meter, ability blocks, and 2 turn dazes, and you got the stagger down. So like, think about how much impact that has, right? Remove 100% TM, place down stagger, you ability block them, and you daze them. That is like borderline GL ult levels of like go fuck yourself. You just effectively remove a character from the video game unless they have squad support to like back them up. That's nuts. It's so funny to me because SM33 and Brutus are basically polar opposites of themselves. SM33 just has like insanely high ratios and like some pretty beefy upfront stats. I'm pretty sure Brutus has like god awful damage values, but the archetype of the character, I assume the motive that CG has is to just make them scale like absolute monsters. Because look at this, right? This is what? This is like a 100% ratio, like 105, 110. This is like roughly 140. This is 400 almost, 380. This is 12,000. Right? Is something like, isn't it? What was the actual number? I think it's actually higher than that. Not even 12,000. 1260. Right? We have 2 attackers that are like polar opposites. It's crazy. We have the most I'm going to kill you just by the sheer audacity of my numbers. It doesn't matter what my team has. And then we have like extremely slow ruler base, but like what's all of this scaling? So we've got the permanent defense penetration stacking for the rest of battle. What's his base value? It's actually pretty decent. Strength attacker with some good base pen. So percentage gains on that will be real. Probably because of some can star profit, more or less. He's kind of like the Dark Trooper of the squad, right? I need to like a refresh on some of this stuff. Whenever he targets the ally pirate in the leader slot, he stacks crit damage for 1 turn. I knew the turn meter, but forgot the crit damage stacking. Yeah, I like SM33 just starts insanely strong. Just like literally one of the best damage dealing characters ever. Just in terms of like raw base potential, base kit power, like self sufficient. Just I'm gonna go fucking kill you. I was just saying he's like a good like 1v1 duelist, but just in terms of like man who stands there and hits you. This is like a traumatic event for anyone on the receiving ends. Um, but yeah, let's see. We already kind of went through it, right? But like, yeah, 5% defense pen whenever pirate ally takes damage. You might not actually see this stack that much, to be honest. Or again, this is kind of like a damage ramp that you don't have control over. As well, whenever Pirate Hondo takes damage, all Pirate allies gain 1 stack of profit. That also is technically a stacking mechanic for Brutus. And we do have Profit Cat removed. We gain 5 additional stacks of profit at the start of battle. So we are 10 profit, at least 11 when he casts his first AoE. Well, not his first, just any, right? But 11 on first cast. Although I guess Brutus gains 2 for doing it. Oh, no. Not for Hondo. And then yeah, like this is really I think just it. This is what it's going to boil down to. So up to the first 20 profit. If you see 20 profit Brutus, he's basically max potential, more or less. Oh shit. If the ally in the leader slot is Pirate King, Hondo, and Knocker, and reduce Brutus' skull ends by 1 whenever Brutus attacks out of turn. So what is that? How does that play exactly though? So Hondo, I assume, is going to do mass at the start of battle. So you're not getting any cooldown reduction benefit there. Hondo basic would possibly hit Brutus. It's if you're running SM33 Brutus, it would be a 50% chance to hit him. And then yeah, the second mass. And then yeah, we have the 20 profit. So Brutus is basically just trying to get to 20. That's all this man is ever wanted. Get the 20, get value. This is basic steal? No. I don't know which move Vayne uses first on defense. Crazy. It's just a very weird team to wrap it around. Like this team is just straight fundamentals, very little like it's sneaky, don't get me wrong, but it's not like very little reactivity, very little like you can't do this. I mean, Hondo has it in his kit, right? You have the top of the lead did some, right? But like we don't see like can't be dazed, can't be stunned. Like that shit is just fair game. I think we released new characters for mods. They already did. Those are the first people that we got. Right? Standard split is going to be Like Maz, Athano, Quiggolds, Kicks. Hondo is going to be Brutus, Silvo, Vayne. SM33 arguably can float between either squad. Same for GL Hondo. That's like the loose structure that I view the squad as. Kicks could also float, to be honest. Oh, see. Whenever Pirate Ally is inflicted with Healing Meteor Shock, Kicks dispels all debuffs within the spell, gains speed up and 20% TM&E assists himself the next time he uses a special ability. Hondo. Immune to Healing Immunity and Shock. So that is effectively a Maz only clause. The start of his turn, Pirate Allies below 100% health, gain evasion up for 1 turn. TM manipulation between Hondo and Silva, but a bit surprised on the lack of immunity clauses. It's... yeah. This feels like an experiment. My gut reaction says that, like, squads like this, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually looks decently scary immediately, but the moment that you blow, that you poke any sort of hole in it, it's just gonna blow it open. Like, I don't really know why Night Sisters would be hard right now. Well, let's ask that question. Why would OG Night Sisters potentially be hard right now? I don't think they have any, like, revive protection, right? I mean, the answer there is OG Hondo, I guess, and you would just be trying to raise plague damage against OG Hondo. OG Hondo doesn't really have excellent healing. He has protection recovery, but the plague is attacking him via his health pool. But, like, assumedly, OG Hondo would eventually get you under control if you aren't able to kill him fairly fast. I mean, there's a world where maybe their tenacity is just competitive enough to that, like, 80 base is not shabby. Yeah, near 100 base. Well, they gained ferocity, but I remember, is ferocity negative tenacity? It's negative defense, negative something. I feel like it could be tenacity. Yeah. There's a bit of a lost clause, but only if no buffs are stolen. That's so weird. So assuming that Civil uses this first, he can't bounce himself, right? It's only terminated to other people, but it's still... So this is the weird contradiction to me. Everything about this screams that I would love Silvo to be slowest, but we know that Brutus actively likes being slower than Silvo. At least if you care about the whole... Because Silvo has the... You drop the stagger, he gains alert, Brutus does his intimidation. It doesn't do any damage, which means the stagger is still intact. Silva proxy alert, hits the stagger, cashes out the Terminator. Oh, wait. Where's that clause exactly? I thought it was on. Is it on his unique? Oh, it's on his basic. Yeah, so it's still fundamentally coming from the alert, right? It's not like, as far as I can tell, it's not like he's gonna get Terminator equal to what he removes here. I don't know, man. This is crazy. Like, this just sounds like a fucking slugfest. Like, Hondo as a squad sounds relatively honest, ignoring Vane's unique. But it's almost dishonest in how honest it is, because you put all the words together, it just equals I'm gonna fucking kill you now. Or at least that's what they're gonna be trying to do. The act of fighting this squad is going to be the act of, like, trying to make sure that you have survival secured. Now, I do wonder, would it actually be that hard to try trail lead here, considering how much they assist? My initial knee-jerk reaction to Maz was that squad was more inhospitable to life than this might be. Yeah, trail lead might be fine here. I understand that, like, what, isn't it like, so Nihilus will take the full time to get to his cooldowns? But that's not really what I'm looking at for. I'm looking at for, again, just kind of straight fundamentals, like, we are looking to exploit you for your willingness to assist and unwillingness to, I mean, Vane's protected against percent health, but nobody else is. It's the BKM issue all over again. Yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind. What do we think? Good, bad? Definitely has potential. It's just very honest. It's an insanely aggressive team. But if you could deal with that initial aggression, it seems a little bit exposed. I mean, it's almost like the easiest comparison to this would almost be like launch JKR in some ways. Oh, there's a log days on his turn for Savage. Yeah, but I don't know that you actually care about running Savage there. That's like, I don't care about Nihilus. I mean, Nihilus will be nice against Vayne eventually. I literally just care about run trail lead and watch them kill themselves and capitalize. We got Sign AoE, you've got I mean, it's not even that you would be stuck on Vayne, right? Because you wouldn't be. But the point being, like, if the Traya team secures that you will not be killing them, then it would only be a matter of time until you get easy kills on the sides. The Vayne isn't a permanent lock taunt, it's only for the first 2 turns, technically only the first 1 turn most of the time, so you just isolate him and then you have free access to people who will be hurting themselves fairly often. We'll see, man. If a team could beat them kind of easy, yeah, probably. Any team that's immune to crits like Bad Batch are going to be fairly comfortable in this matchup, I'd imagine. Alright, we will just have to see. Cool. The wait is over. I assume the fact that we have the kit means that he will be playable on Wednesday? So yeah, less than 1 week out. We shall see. It'll be tough to be fully prepared for that, but we'll do my best. Alright. I think we call it there. I'm gonna go get some rest. Y'all enjoy the weekends. I might do some SKO streams during the downtime, but also we have GAC tomorrow anyway, so it's not like it's off the week. Alright. That's it for me. Later.